ॐ ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम् शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। प्रातः स्मरामि हृदि स्फुरदात्मतत्त्वम् सच्चित्सुखं परमहंसगतिं तुरीयम् यत्स्वप्नजागर सुषुप्तमवेति नित्यं तद्ब्रह्म निष्कलमहं भूतसङ्घः। रूपवर्णादिकं सर्वं विहाय परमार्थवित् परिपूर्णचिदानन्द स्वरूपेणावतिष्ठते ज्ञातृज्ञानज्ञेयभेदः परेणात्मनि विद्यते चिदानन्दैकरूपत्वात् दीप्यते स्वयमेव तत् एवमात्मारणौ ध्यानम् मथने सततं कृते उदिता भगतिर्ज्वाला सर्वाज्ञानेन्धनं दहेत् अरुणेनेव बोधेन पूर्वं सन्तमसे हृते तत आविर्भवेदात्मा स्वयमेवांशुमानिव आत्मा तु सततं प्राप्तोऽपि अप्राप्तवदविद्यया तन्नाशे प्राप्तवद्भाति स्वकण्ठाभरणं यथा स्थाणौ पुरुषवद्भ्रान्त्या कृता ब्रह्मणि जीवता जीवस्य तात्विके रूपे तस्मिन् दृष्टे निवर्तते तत्त्वस्वरूपानुभवात् उत्पन्नं ज्ञानमञ्जसा अहं ममेति चाज्ञानं बाधते दिग्भ्रमादिवत् सम्यक् विज्ञानवान् योगी स्वात्मन्येवाखिलं जगत् एकं च सर्वमात्मानं ईक्षते ज्ञानचक्षुषा आत्मैवेदं जगत् सर्वम् आत्मनोऽन्यन्न विद्यते मृदो यद्वत्कठादीनि स्वात्मानं सर्वमीक्षते जीवन्मुक्तस्तु तद्विद्वान् पूर्वोपाधिगुणान् त्यजेत् सच्चिदानन्दरूपत्वात् भवेद् भ्रमरकीटवत् तीर्त्वा मोहार्णवं हत्वा रागद्वेषादिराक्षसान् योगी शान्तिसमायुक्तः आत्मा रामो विराजते बाह्यानित्यसुखासक्तिं हित्वात्मसुखनिवृत्तः घटस्तदीपस्त्वस्थः स्वान्तरेव प्रकाशते उपाधिस्तोऽपि तद्धर्मैः अलिप्तो व्योमवन्मुनिः सर्वन् विमूढवित्तिष्ठे असक्तो वायुवच्चरेत् उपाधिविलयाद् विष्णौ निर्विशेषं विशेन्मुनिः जले जलं वियद्व्योम्नि तेजस्तेजसि वा यथा यल्लाभान्नापरो लाभः यत्सुखं नापरं सुखं यज्ञानान्नापरं ज्ञानं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत् यद्दृष्ट्वा नापरं दृश्यं यद्भूत्वा न पुनर्भवः यज्ञात्वा नापरं ज्ञेयं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत् तत्सत्
My screen sharing went away. You can't see, no? I don't know. Just I'll share again. Just went.
we can see the share screen.
But on my screen, nothing. Blank, it is completely. I will once again.
No issues, no problem.
Yeah. So we were doing 51st verse. 51, where should I repeat? I think that also I had. Yeah, we were looking at the part of Ramayana, how Atma Rama, how beautifully Swamiji had compared the Ramayana characters and how beautifully we can bring back that peace, which is nothing but Ma Sita, and how we can bring it back, which is already there with us all the time. So I'll just repeat quickly. I think 51 was also we had yesterday I had read, but I once again read. Bahya nitya sukha saktim hitvatma sukha nirvritaha घटस्थदीपवत् स्वस्थः स्वान्तरेव प्रकाशते. बाह्य, external, anitya, illusory, sukha saktim, attachment for happiness. Hitva, after having, atma sukha nivruttah, satisfied with the bliss coming from within. Ghatastha deepavata, like a lamp placed inside a jar. Swastha, comfortably placed. Swamtaha, within himself, eva, alone, prakashate, shines. Bahya anitya sukha saktim, hitva, atma sukha nivruttaha, ghatastha deepavata, swasthaha, स्वान्तः एव prakashate. The self-abiding Jivan Mukta relinquishes all his attachments to the illusory external happiness and satisfied with the bliss derived from the Atman, shines inwardly like a lamp placed inside a jar. The goal of the seekers is no doubt the ending of all sorrows and the achievement of perfect joy. And he is called a man of realization who has withdrawn his consciousness entirely from all his identifications with his body, mind, and intellect. Naturally, therefore, he will not be conscious of the objects of these three layers of matter, namely the world of sense objects, the variety of feelings, and the array of ideas. For to the self, in the self, there is nothing but the self to illumine. But when a self effulgent truth has nothing else other than itself to illumine in its own infinite glory, how will it exist? This will be now the doubt in every student of Vedanta who is approaching the theory of self realization, especially during his early days of study when he is trying to appreciate philosophy through his own limited intellectual evaluations. So the question is, when a self-effulgent truth has nothing else other than itself to illumine in its own infinite glory, how will it exist? The condition of the pure consciousness, when it has no other objects to be conscious of except the self, is beautifully brought out in this analogy of Sri Shankara. When a lighted lamp is put on a table, no doubt its glowing illumination plays upon the surfaces of the various objects in the room, and in varying degrees of intensity, it illumines the objects. But as soon as that lighted lamp is slowly and carefully lowered into a pot or a jar, the light of the lamp must come to illumine only the inner space of the jar. Similarly, consciousness, while playing through the equipments, no doubt gets reflected upon the objects and provides us with the knowledge of the objects. But when we have withdrawn the consciousness from the vehicle into itself, it can illumine only itself. It is said in the stanza that at this stage of the self shines inwardly alone. This should not be misunderstood to mean only the direct dictionary meaning of the term inward. When the consciousness is withdrawn into the self, it illumines the within, is a statement that is couched in the Vedantic technical language. In Vedanta, subtlety of a thing is measured by its pervasiveness. And in Vedanta, the subtler is conceived as interior to the grosser. Naturally, therefore, the innermost self is the subtlest of the subtle, which means that it is all pervading and that nothing pervades it. At the moment of self realization, if the consciousness comes to illumine within, as the stanza says, in its secret import, it suggests that the final experience is of the infinite, all pervading self, the subtlest of the subtle, the ever effulgent, the pure awareness. So beautifully, the Jivan Mukta are described. When you become Antarmukhi, then that self illumines within, Navadware Dehi. So it will illumine the within of, when there is no external world. And even if it is there, then it is nothing but the manifestation of your own self, which is illumining everything around you. Yeah, kindly share your understanding and also explain, those who can explain very well.
It's just to re-emphasize the Atma Rama that was described in the previous shloka. So when a person of self-realization, he is happy, secure. He has that, he illumines himself, that the light of that knowledge itself illumines, it's self-luminous. Just like how a lamp is placed inside the pot, this pot, we should imagine it to be an earthen pot. So the light is not coming outside of the pot, it is only lighting up the space within the pot. Although when this lamp is brought out, it will show its reflection and all the others also get the reflected light and they shine forth. But the person of self-realization is likened to that state is likened to a lamp within a pot. So he is like Atma Rama. He's reveling in his true nature. He does not require any other a hook in order to be happy. He has realized himself to be that Satchidananda Rupa. And again, this inside the pot, this inside Antarmukhi or inside should not mean it's just limited by something else. It is itself infinite, expansive and infinite.
Yeah, so beautiful. Yesterday, I was just listening to Swami Chinmayanandji, and he gave a very beautiful example about Lord Shiva and the relationship with the with Nandi. The example he gave was like a bull. He said there are two types. One is facing the Lord Shiva Linga, and one is facing the external door, the temple. So when the bull is facing Lord Shivalinga, it is called Nandi. And when it is facing the doors of the temple, it is called the Vahini, that is the vehicle for Lord Shiva. So in the same way, when our senses are focused on only on the God, that single pointedness, that avyabhicharini bhakti, only which is eka bhakti on the Lord, then it is we become Nandi, who is Nandati eva, who is rejoicing in the dhyana of Bhagavan. Yeah.
Very nice. There's also why the bull is the vehicle of Lord Shiva. There is a story behind that. I don't know, but somewhere I heard that, but I don't recollect now why the bull was chosen as the vehicle of Lord Shiva. Very nice sharing, Belaji.
Bull represents, I don't know the story behind it, but in the same discourse yesterday, Swamiji also mentioned that it has the tendency to go to different other external world, whether it is sensual objects or anything. It is too much. But when it is inwardly brought to the divine, then it becomes Nandi, who is all the time available for the service of the Lord. Yeah. If no one wants to share, then I can go ahead. And may I request someone who can help in later, maybe in another 30 minutes, I can still read for half an hour. Kindly help me. उपाधिस्थोऽपि तद्धर्मैः अलिप्तो व्योमवन्मुनिः सर्वविन्मूढवत्तिष्ठेत् असक्तो वायुवच्चरेत् Upadhisthopi, though associated with upadhis, conditionings, tad dharmaihi, by their attributes, aliptaha, untamed, untamed, vyomavata, like the ether. I hope I'm correct, reading correctly, like the ether. Munihi, the contemplative one. Sarvavita, one who knows everything. Mudhavat, like a fool. Tishthed, remains. Asaktaha, being unattached. Vayuvat, like the wind. Charet, moves about. Upadhisthopi, tadharmaihi, aliptaha vyomavata, munihi, sarvavita, mudhavata, tishthet, asaktaha, vayuvata, charet. Though he lives in the conditionings, upadhis, he, the contemplative one, remains ever unconcerned with anything, or he may move about like the wind, perfectly unattached. I repeat, though he lives in the conditionings, upadhis, he, the contemplative one, remains ever unconcerned with anything, or He may move about like the wind, perfectly unattached. The state of a Jivan Mukta is described further here. The perfect man is one who has renounced all his clinging attachments to the finite sense objects. The mind has a tendency to hold on to something or other. And what is the alternative offered here? It is the constant bliss in him. I repeat, the idea is also given so beautifully. The state of a Jivan Mukta is described further here. The perfect man is one who has renounced all his clinging attachments to the finite sense objects. The mind has a tendency to hold on to something or other. And what is the alternative offered here? It is the constant bliss in him. But what happens when sometimes he appears to be seemingly associated with the world, even though he may be outwardly cognizing and be aware of their existence? He is not bound by them, for he is a free man now, free from these upadhis. As an illumined person, he has learned to live constantly in that knowledge and illumination. In him, limitations have no weight to pull him down. I repeat, but what happens when sometimes he appears to be seemingly associated with the world, even though he may be outwardly cognizing and be aware of their existence? He is not bound by them, for he is a free man now, free from these upadhis. As an illumined person, he has learned to live constantly in that knowledge and illumination. In him, limitations have no weight to pull him down. He may move about as a devil, a child, or as a drunken man, but he is not really so. He lives in the greater intoxication of goodhood and in the subtler joy of self realization. He may serve the society or he may not. All the same, put him in any situation and he will handle it without getting affected in the least by his actions or the results of his contact. He is a sthita prajna of the highest order, explained so elaborately in the Gita. Read Swamiji's discourses on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse from 54 to 72. I will just finish reading and then I can read those shloka with the kind permission of everybody, or we can go ahead with Manana. The sky appears to be blue and a little grey, but the sky itself is not really so. Similarly, the Jivan Mukta may seem to be associated with the Upadhis and may wander about as an ordinary man in the workaday world, but he gets into that role and comes out of it unattached and untainted like the wind. I repeat the example of the sky. The sky appears to be blue and a little gray, but the sky itself is not really so. Similarly, the Jivan Mukta may seem to be associated with the Upadhis and may wander about as an ordinary man in the workaday world, but he gets into that role and comes out of it unattached and untainted like the wind. Brahmaraji, should I read those shloka or we can have the Manana kindly guide us?
Yeah, please, we'll go back and read the shlokas from chapter
Okay.
2.
ॐ श्री परमात्मने नमः। अर्जुन उवाच स्थितप्रज्ञस्य का भाषा समाधिस्थस्य केशव स्थितधीं किं प्रभाषेत किमासीत व्रजेत किम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच प्रजहाति यदा कामान् सर्वान् पार्थमनोगतान् आत्मन्येवात्मना तुष्टः स्थितप्रज्ञस्तदोच्यते। दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनः दुःखेष्वनुद्विग्नमनाः सुखेषु विगतस्पृहः वीतरागभयक्रोधः स्थितधीर्मुनिरुच्यते। यः सर्वत्रानभिस्त्रेहः ततः प्राप्य शुभाशुभम् नाभिनन्दति न द्वेष्टि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता। यदा संहरते चायं कूर्मोऽङ्गानीव सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता। विषया विनिवर्तन्ते निराहारस्य देहिनः रसवर्जं रसोऽप्यस्य परं दृष्ट्वा निवर्तते। यततो ह्यपि कौन्तेय पुरुषस्य विपश्चितः इन्द्रियाणि प्रमाथीनि हरन्ति प्रसभं मनः तानि सर्वाणि संयम्य युक्त आसीत मत्परः वशे हि यस्येन्द्रियाणि तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता। ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः सङ्गस्तेषूपजायते सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः कामात् क्रोधोऽभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृतिविभ्रमः स्मृतिभ्रंशात् बुद्धिनाशः बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति रागद्वेषवियुक्तैस्तु विषयानिन्द्रियैश्चरन् आत्मवैश्यैर्विधेयात्मा प्रसादमधिगच्छति। 72 only. I read this. Oh, 60. Okay, there is few more. प्रसादे सर्वदुःखानां हानिरस्योपजायते प्रसन्नचेतसो ह्याशु बुद्धिः पर्यवतिष्ठते नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न चायुक्तस्य भावना न चाभावयतः शान्तिः अशान्तस्य कुतः सुखम् इन्द्रियाणां हि चरतां यन्मनोनुविधीयते तदस्य हरति प्रज्ञां वायुर्नावमिवाम्भसि तस्माद्यस्य तस्माद्यस्य महाबाहो निगृहीतानि सर्वशः इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेभ्यः तस्य प्रज्ञा प्रतिष्ठिता या निशा सर्वभूतानां तस्यां जागर्ति संयमी यस्यां जाग्रति भूतानि सा निशा पश्यतो मुनेः आपूर्यमाणम् अचलप्रतिष्ठं समुद्रमापः प्रविशन्ति यद्वत् यद्वत्तकामायं प्रविशन्ति सर्वे स शान्तिमाप्नोति न कामकामी विहाय कामान्य सर्वान् पुमान् शरति निःस्पृहः निर्ममो निरहङ्कारः स शान्तिमधिगच्छति एषा ब्राह्मी स्थितिः पार्थ नैनां प्राप्य विमुह्यति स्थित्वा स्यामन्तकालेऽपि ब्रह्मनिर्वाणमृच्छति ॐ तत्सदिति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु उपनिषत्सु सांख्ययोग नाम द्वितीयोऽध्यायः ॐ तत्सत् सर्वं श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु So they were all the lakshanas of Sthita Prajna. We can revise them by contributing. Kindly share your understanding. How the enlightened one, who is Muni, who is Rishi, or who has mastered how to surf even in the when there are typhoons in the so how to surf he has known. So kindly share because he is Sthita Prajna. So he may appear to be engaged in the worldly matters, but he knows how to stay aloof, unattached, just like the way Bhagwan has mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, the Lakshana of Sthita Prajna. I think it is better to revise each one of them. Yeah, kindly share.
Can someone talk about the first sentence over here? He may move about a devil, a child, or as a drunken man, but he is not really so. Um,
Yeah, it is just just for example, it is not the literal meaning. He may look like a person who is having all negative tendency or as innocent as a child or as a drunken man. He may appear to be like that. Yeah, anyone else can also explain. This is my understanding.
Even though, it says he move over devil, drunken man, things like that. Somebody who attained like self-realization, they have good tendency. They normally don't um, go. I mean, somewhere we read that also, um, that
they don't have that kind of tendencies. Usually, they have good tendency. They like Sthita Prajna. Sorry, I have a problem with my mouth. Uh, Sthita Prajna that they are they're not attached to any of these upadhis. Like they have the wisdom that not attached to this external objects or things. And like one of the sloka you read where the tortoise pulls its limbs inside its shell, like that they have their senses control and the mind is clear, and so they go over doing right things. Like here, even if they murder or something like that, that action is not attached to them, but then they not normally they may see he may serve the society or he may not, or they may not do that kind of stuff. They he is the Siddha Prajna of highest order explained in the Gita. That's what that is like. Normally they serve the uh, uh, like serve the society without any expectations, and they love all, that kind of attitude, uh, not differentiate. I mean, I can't get all the points in the sloka that you read, but that's what that is. The other sloka also, like where yesterday also we read that somebody who had a lot of desire and it goes on to when the desire not fulfilled, they get angry and they get um, that greed or whatever, then it gets what is that? It affects the buddhi, and then it can finally leads to distraction. That was another sloka you read also. Mostly controlling the senses. That's what most of that was read. Um,
Yeah, that krodhat bhavati sammoha.
mm, yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
very,
all the slokas, most of them like Indriyani, Indriyateshu, like that. You read, right? That one also, like
yeah,
controlling the senses.
correct.
Yeah. I'm trying to learn this, not trying to learn, I am, I started learning the Sanskrit. I'm only in the latter part of it. I was reading meaning for Sukha. Su means excellent. Ka is a space. Like excellent spaces. That space could be inside or outside. Uh, so that so however we want to take that main we always read Sukha Dukkeshu, we always relate it to the external pleasurable experiences, right? But it's actually what you feel inside, like keeping it excellent inside. That means our mind, our buddhi, and all that, keeping that space, um, clean. This is sukha. I cannot trying
Very,
to.
very beautiful. Very beautiful meaning you said. Yeah, that is so wonderful, Shamara.
So we
Excellent
can,
space. Yeah,
yeah,
Sukha.
excellent spaces. Like it's making it inside as well as outside. So the more you make inside, also you feel good, and outside also you feel good. So that's sukha. Uh, so So we want to have sukha. This is how we want to have the sukha. Oh my God. Like that, Siddha Prajna is a nice word, and there is another word similar to that we read, right? Siddha Prajna, and what is the other word for another chapter we read?
Yogi,
Huh?
Yati, and they are sunishchitata, asserted. Those who are enlightened, for them, these are the words. Muni. Then
Yeah. But this similar to that in Gita, there is another. He coined another word, and that
like Siddha Prajna.
yeah, like Siddha Prajna, like it comes somewhere. I can't believe it, man. I'm just
Samadarshi,
probably yes, yeah. I mean, we bring this Siddha Prajna, these slokas so many times whenever we whenever we read, so many times we read these slokas. It's been quoted many places, and I cannot try to remember. It will come. Maybe in Bhaja Govindam we read. I don't remember. That's the one we read recently. It will come. Anyway.
This is very beautiful. Very nice sharing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mara.
You're welcome. Whatever little I know, that's it.
Yeah. So here only the important thing to understand is that they are Vedanta Vijnane Sunishchitata. They have firm understanding. I mean, they have known that whatever is inside is outside. So they are very clear about, and they are the Jivan Muktas. They may seem to be associated with the Upadhis, because though their sthula sharira is still there, so they may look as if they are involved and engrossed in the worldly matter, but they are unattached. Kindly share your answer.
Yeah, the analogy given every time, they are so beautiful. Like how that sky appears to be blue and little gray, but it has no color of its own, no? It appears blue, gray, no? But it
Yeah.
doesn't have any color. Similar is that Sthita Prajna person, that he may appear in any in any form, like described as a child, drunken, but he is that self-realized soul, sthita prajna, of highest order. He is, though he may appear anything, and also that how that wind analogy, wind touches everything, no, but itself it doesn't get affected, though sometimes it carries that essence, like some
Fragrance.
fragrance of maybe of in a fragrance, or sometimes it carries that
Order also. Yeah.
or yeah, bad odor also, but it is just a momentary passing, then again it is refreshed. So these analogies, if we can retain in our mind, then we will not forget the essence of these verses. And of course the explanation to which it is related, like it is related to the sthita prajna, so it will imbibe in our this ingrained rather in our brain.
these analogies, and it will remind us of the text which we read. So this is very beautiful way of teaching. Yeah.
Anyone else would like to? I request if Mrinalji or anyone else can take over in a few minutes. I will really appreciate if anyone else can take over.
Yeah. I am okay to read.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Till you bring your screen, Mrinalji, I can read the shloka. If anyone wants to share, or we go ahead with the shloka. Okay. उपाधिविलयाद् विष्णौ निर्विशेषं विषेन्मुनिः जले जलं वियद् व्योन्मि तेजस्तेजसि वा यथा. Yeah. Upadhi vilayat, on the destruction of the upadhis or conditionings. Vishnu, in the all-pervading spirit. Nirvishesham, totally. Visheta is absorbed. Munihi, the contemplative one. Jale, into the water. Jalam, water. Vyat, the space. Vyomni, into the space. Tejah, light. Tejasi, into the light. Va, and Yatha, just as. Upadhi vilayat Vishnu nirvishesham vishet munihi jale jalam viyat vyomni tejah tejasi va yatha. On the destruction of the upadhis, the contemplative one is totally absorbed in Vishnu, the all-pervading spirit, like water into water, space into space, and light into light. I repeat, on the destruction of the upadhis, the contemplative one is totally absorbed in Vishnu, the all-pervading spirit, like water into water, space into space, and light into light. Yeah. Mrinalji, kindly take over.
Jai Gurudev, we were on which shloka now?
51, I think, 51. Sorry, 53, huh? 53 I read just now.
Okay. Yeah.
Page number is 104.
Yeah, this is where we will, right?
Yes, yes.
The upadhi in me that has occasioned the expression of my personality is my identification with my body, mind, and intellect. No doubt it may appear that there are other limiting factors, but all of them arise because of one's association with these three evils. The seeker who wants to end the conditioned existence and discover the whole in him should withdraw his mind from the said upadhis. When I no more identify myself with the individuality in me, when the egocentric existence, which is the reality reflected in the mind and intellect, is destroyed, then, like water into water, space into space, and light into light, I come to merge with the Vishnu, the all pervading. Naturally, when my limited existence is made unlimited, I can be nothing else than the all pervading. The stains on the mirror having been washed out, the reflection is now brighter and clearer. I'll read this again. The upadhi in me that has occasioned the expression of my personality is my identification with my body, mind, and intellect. No doubt it may appear that there are other limiting factors, but all of them arise because of one's association with these three evils. The seeker who wants to end the conditioned existence and discover the whole in him should withdraw his mind from the said upadhis. When I no more identify myself with the individuality in me, when the egocentric existence, which is the reality reflected in the mind and intellect, is destroyed, then, like water into water, space into space, and light into light, I come to merge with the Vishnu, the all pervading. Naturally, when my limited existence is made unlimited, I can be nothing else than the all pervading. The stain on the mirror having been washed out, the reflection is now brighter and clearer. When the equipments are destroyed, the Muni, a man of reflection, Manana Silvan, Silavan, Manana
Mananah Shilavan.
Silavan,
Yeah,
Manana, okay, Manana Silvan.
yeah.
What is Silvan? Uh,
One who is
Mananashil, Mrinalji,
Shilavan.
Mananashil.
Okay, Manana Shilavan
one.
comes to experience the inner bliss without any admixture of qualitative distinction. Nirvisheshavan, Nirvisheshatvam, Nirvisheshatvam. When the Vishnu or the all pervasive nature of one's own self is realized as the self in all, one comes to remain at one ment with him in the eternal joy, losing one's own limited individuality. Read this again. When the equipments are destroyed, the Muni, a man of reflection, Mananashilvan, comes to experience the inner bliss without any admixture of qualitative distinction, nirvisheshatvam, nirvisheshatvam, sorry. Uh, when the equipments are destroyed, the Muni, a man of reflection, Mananashilvan, comes to experience the inner bliss without any admixture or qualitative distinction, nirvisheshatvam. When the Vishnu,
Nirvisheshatva. Yeah.
when the Vishnu or all pervasive nature of one's own self is realized as the self in all, one comes to remain at one ment with him in eternal joy, losing one's own limited individuality. Should I read the next sloka?
Hari Om. And Ramaraji and everybody, are they talking here about those who enlightened ones who leave their body, how their even the Sthula Sharira and other Sharira also merged with the elements? Is it about them?
I think it is the Samatva Bhav is talked here. When
Yeah,
the
I think
Vishnu
it's
or the all pervasive nature of one own self is realized as the self in all, that the water into water, space into space, that Samatva Bhav, when it is not limited to one own self. It is
yeah, it's not
merging with.
about the Ubadhis. It's about the Atman mixing with the the supreme consciousness. So that is that space into space, water into water, like that. It's part of the.
Part
Sorry,
of
I
the
didn't mean to.
Prakriti also, part of the Prakriti. They are talking about the space, water, and all.
No,
If
no,
you one with
that's
the
an
space,
example. Like it's not really space. Basically, the meaning, like say, what do you call that? Pasupati, right? There is word like Pasupati or the in Tamil we call it as Aikyam, but what do you call that? Shiva, like Sivamyam or something like that. Even in the Brahmanjanavali, where you read the final mixing of yourself into the all pervading, to all. That's what is called Vishnu, right? This is why he gave the Vishnu here the name, all pervading. Where is that one? The song. After destruction of the upadhis, that's what, on destruction of the upadhis, all pervading spirit. So it mixed with the all pervading spirit.
See,
So
here I think, yeah, go ahead.
is that what they revel, right? That person Jivan Mukta reveals himself, and he revels in the self in all, like that. That's what that I feel that was the thing. Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Ramesh.
See, here they started off with that association. The reason why we are bound is because of our association with the different upadhis. But once with this knowledge, when he is free from that association, it is like how space, how wind, air mixes with space, how water mixes with water, fire mixes with fire. That is how, in Telugu we say avalila. Avalila means very, very effortlessly he merges with that association that he is nothing but the infinite. So it is just describing the state of a Jivan Mukta, where in that moment of realization, he just merges with that Advaita. There is no other there. So where is the question of Upadhi there? He's not even there's no Upadhi at all. It is that illusion, that delusion of the mirage, the delusion of the snake on the rope, of the man on the post, or the ghost on the post. All that is just resolved. And he's in that state. And in that state, that in the previous shloka, there was some discussion on unmatta, on how like a man mad. It's like a madman. It is unmatta iva. He's not a mad person, but he behaves in such a way because he's so disconnected with the outside world. So to other people, he might seem like he's a madman. Sai Baba was considered for a long time, like he was wandering here and there. He was considered like a madman. So those are all the different ways in which an enlightened person can function in the world. He can be doing all the work outside. He might just go withdraw himself. And we have seen history shows us different kinds of spiritual masters with different, actions in the world. So that apart, this particular thing is just again describing the state of enlightenment, how it is when you dissociate from all the other upadhis. And it's basically talking of pratyahara, where you don't go outwardly, you revel from within. I think the previous shloka was talking of that. Yeah.
This Vishnu over is all, this has to be taken as all pervading energy, right?
Yes.
Normally we
Vishnu.
give, normally we say Shiva, Shiva Tattva. Here,
No, that is only a nomenclature. I think at this point of time, we should not be, we should go beyond that name, whether it's Shiva Tattva, Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu means Vyapakatvat Vishnu.
okay.
Same with Shiva Tattva. It's only the name is different. I mean, that is
Not to do with the Devata Vishnu.
no. Devatas are come afterwards.
Yeah.
So what exists is just that one truth.
You know,
Devatas
in Vishnu Sahasranama, there's the second nama for the the Brahman. You know, they call him Vishnu. Vishnu means is everywhere, like all pervading, right? You said Sarva Vyapi, right? Sarva Vyapi.
Vyapi and Vyapakatvat Vishnu.
How do you say that? Vyapak, what is that in
Vyapakatvat
Sanskrit?
Vyapakatvat Vishnu. The one that is
Vyapakatvat
all
Vishnu. Okay.
is all pervading.
Yeah, that's yeah. In Tamil also it says Sarva Vyapi or something. Yeah, like that.
All these names and forms again. See the Vishnu that we imagine that is portrayed with the Shankha Chakra, Gada, and all that, and Shiva with the snake around his neck. All those are again, when you look at it from the Vedantic perspective, they're all names and forms.
Names and forms, yes, exactly.
So what exists is, the truth is that Asti Bhati Preeti. Nama Rupa can vary, can be Jesus, can be Buddha, can be Allah, can be Rama, Krishna, whoever you name it. But what is the essential nature is that Asti Bhati and Preeti.
Yeah. This Shiva and Vishnu, Brahma comes later, like you said. The first one is this Brahman, who's even in Lalita Sahasranam also they show this thing, and then that he wields that power to Maya, that Adi Shakti. From there, this three the sattvic aspect of that guna, forms these three. Shiva, Vishnu, and Brahma, and they also called that that Virat form and Srishti, Sthiti, Laya, and then there is a name for Virat, and what is that, Dr. Brahma? I don't remember that one.
Vishwarupa, Virat. Correct.
Virat, there is each one has some name. Hiranyagarbha. There is another one. There is the last one is another name for it. That they give these kind of names for actually. So but we read it in Tattva as Ishvara. Ishvara is the one. Then they have three functions aligned to that. But in this form only we are kind of that Shiva Vishnu came from. I'm wondering like how we came with this Puranas and all that. So then today when I was reading Lalita Sahasranam, there was meaning of this also given there.
It's a little deviant from what we're doing, but since you talked about the Lalita, I just thought it's appropriate to tell you here. There's an option. Whoever wants to learn to chant Lalita, there is an option. There's one teacher who's going to teach it online. I'll just share the details in the group. If anyone of
That'd
you
be
is interested,
nice.
you can please join the WhatsApp group. The timings will be Bahrain timings, so you'll have to convert it to your local timings. You can share with like-minded people. Whoever is keen to can join in. It's over 5 days, and the details will be mentioned in the WhatsApp group. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's nice.
I read the sloka.
Yeah, can go ahead. I think the next few shlokas are all about describing the state of enlightenment of a Jivan Mukta. Yeah, please go ahead.
यल्लाभान्ना परो लाभो यत्सुखान्ना परं सुखं यज्ञाना ना परं ज्ञानं तद्ब्रह्मेत्यवधारयेत् यल्लाभात् from the attainment of which na not aparah other labhah attainment yet sukhat from the blessedness of which na not aparam other sukham blessedness yajnanat from the knowledge of which na not aparam other jnanam knowledge tad brahma that to be brahman iti thus avadharayet yallabhat न अपरः लाभः यत् सुखात् न अपरं सुखं यज्ञानात् न अपरं ज्ञानं तद् ब्रह्म इति अवधारयेत्. Realize that to be Brahman, the attainment of which leaves nothing more to be attained, the blessedness of which leaves no other blessing to be desired, and the knowledge of which leaves nothing more to be known. Realize that to be Brahman, the attainment of which leaves nothing more to be attained, the blessedness of which leaves no other blessings to be desired, and the knowledge of which leaves nothing more to be known. These three following stanzas in Atma Bodham try to indicate the Supreme Brahman by a technical process used in Vedanta to express the Absolute called Tathastha Lakshana, an attempt at definition by differentiation yet in consonance with it. An attempt at definition by differentiation yet in consonance with it. In indicating, for example, the house of Sat Prakash Ji, we may say that house on which the crow sits is his house. The crow does not permanently sit there. The crow is no part of that house. Showing the crow, we indicate the house separately from other similar houses. The house is, of course, understood as the building without the crow on it. Even when the crow has flown away, the knower of the house can recognize it from all other houses. This method is called Tathastha Lakshana. Read this again. These three following stanzas in Atma Bodham try to indicate the Supreme Brahman by a technical process used in Vedanta to express the absolute, called Tathastha Lakshana, an attempt at definition by differentiation yet in consonance with it. In indicating, for example, the house of Sat Prakashji, we may say, that house on which the crow sits is his house. The crow does not permanently sit there. The crow is no part of that house. Showing the crow, we indicate the house separately from other similar houses. The house is, of course, understood as the building without the crow on it. Even when the crow has flown away, the knower of the house can recognize it from all other houses. This method is called Tathastha Lakshana. The supreme experience is explained here as the greatest gain, the greatest knowledge, having gained which no more is felt any sense of incompleteness, and so none will like to add any more gains to it. Having enjoyed the bliss of the self, none will strive for a greater bliss. Having known which there will be never be any more any thirst to know anything more. That state of absolute gain, bliss, knowledge is Brahman, the experience of the self. The supreme experience is explained here as the greatest gain, the greatest knowledge, having gained which no more is felt any sense of incompleteness, and so none will like to add any more gains to it. Having enjoyed the bliss of the self, none will strive for greater bliss. Having known which there will never be any more any thirst to know anything more. That state of absolute gain, bliss, knowledge is Brahman, the experience of the self. All struggles to gain new acquisitions, to add fresh joys, and to strive for more knowledge indicate the sense of dissatisfaction felt by the imperfect. Imperfection belongs to the individuality in us, the ego, jiva. When the jiva rediscovered when the jiva rediscovered itself to be the self, all imperfections it so far felt are understood by it to be the destiny of its matter envelopments, the body, mind, intellect. And therefore, in that condition of spiritual rediscovery, the realized one finds that all his struggles have ended. That in experiencing which we come to feel such an endless fullness in our life is the supreme goal. Read the last paragraph again. All struggles to gain new acquisitions, to add fresh joys, and to strive for more knowledge indicate the sense of dissatisfaction felt by the imperfect. Imperfection belongs to the individuality in us, the ego jiva. When the jiva rediscovered itself to be the self, all imperfections it so far felt are understood by it to be the destiny of its matter envelopments, the mind, body, intellect, and therefore, in that condition of spiritual rediscovery, the realized one finds that all his struggles have ended, that in experiencing which we come to feel such an endless fullness in our life is the supreme goal.
There is one other Lakshana, right, Dr. Brahmra, the Tataksha Lakshana, which is the other one. This is
Swarupa Lakshana. One is Tatastha
uh,
Lakshana, the other one is Swarupa Lakshana.
Swarupa Lakshana is the one where you directly assume what it is. That
Yeah. Tatastha is like you use a pointer
pointer, yeah.
to show the truth.
Mm.
So it is in variance. See, the crow sitting on that house is in variance. It is not the house. But
Right.
how do you show the house? There should be some indicator. So it's like a pointer. It's like a directing thing. So that is why the explanation of the Tatastha Lakshana is, can we just go through that once again?
Yeah.
Can't take this one. This is one of the techniques used in Vedanta, I think, to indicate the truth.
Yeah.
That is the Lakshana. Yeah.
These three
Yeah,
following
we read it
stanzas.
in introduction, right? Somewhere in the introduction, we read it in Gita. Or I don't remember. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. These three following stanzas in Atma bodha try to indicate the Supreme Brahman by a technical process used in Vedanta to express the Absolute called Tatastha Lakshana, an attempt at definition by differentiation, yet in consonance with it. In indicating, for example, the house of Sat Prakashji, we may say that house on which the crow sits that house on which the crow sits is his house. The crow does not permanently sit there. The crow is not part of that house. Showing the crow, we indicate the house separately from other similar houses. The house is, of course, understood as the building. The house is, of course, understood as the building without the crow on it. Even when the crow has flown away, the knower of the house can recognize it from all other houses. This method is called Tatastha Lakshana. The supreme experience is explained here as the greatest gain, the greatest knowledge, having gained which no more is felt any sense of incompleteness, and no one will like to add any more gains to it. Having enjoyed the bliss of the self, none will strive for a greater bliss. Having known which, there will never be any more any thirst to know anything more. That state of absolute gain, that state of absolute gain bliss knowledge is Brahman, the experience of the self. All struggles to gain new acquisitions, to add fresh joy, and to strive for more knowledge indicate the sense of dissatisfaction felt by the imperfect. Imperfection belongs to the individuality in us, the ego, jiva. When the jiva rediscovered itself to be the self, all imperfections it so far felt are understood by it to be the destiny of its matter envelopments, the body, mind, intellect. And therefore, in that condition of spiritual rediscovery, the realized one finds that all his struggles have ended, that in experiencing which we come to feel such an endless fullness in our life is the supreme goal.
So the way it explained here, when you're the imperfect person is with the all these upadhis and whatnot, right? So imperfection belong to individuality, that with the ego and all that. But then when the jiva rediscovered itself to be the self, the imperfection, everything goes away. So even though that is he's the same person, like same that jiva, and once the identifying, rediscovering himself, the self, then the matter envelopments all dropped. So that's what this house with the crow and with the crow without crow. I think that the Rubadi is compared to the crow looks like. The house is the jiva. Jiva with the self, Brahman.
Yeah, here they're showing the highest bliss, the
Tataksh.
highest bliss, right? So
Is that right, Dr. Brahmara?
yeah, you're right, perfectly right.
Okay, thanks.
I
So
mean,
that's a tataksha lakshana. Okay, got
I'm
it.
no authority, but from my understanding,
No,
I think what you have explained
the,
seems to be right.
it's like when we are in school, we read, right,
Mm,
to do a math
correct.
test, we kind of compare answers like
That's true.
that.
So
Yeah,
I suppose that is what. See, these three shlokas, like it was said, are showing the
yeah,
highest truth. So, in order to show that, they're pointing out that, see, that is the highest, that is it. You're going after these small, small joys. That is not the joy. This is the highest joy. And in order to show that, they're saying, I think here that joy is that the one they're indicating. The small joys might be the like the crow sitting on the house, but the absolute bliss is that complete joy, that fullness, that purnatva. So that is what they're talking about. And yeah, using this, see, we have to start from ground zero. We're all not enlightened, all the students of Vedanta. So from there, what is it you're looking at, what is it you're seeking, is being indicated here. Nice. So shall we?
Isn't it nice that when we are trying to read this, we want to know this, we want to know this, like, but yet we feel imperfect, right? How many days I still dream of, I'm still studying for exam, I didn't finish studying.
Yeah.
That
But
incompleteness, it still
the
exists in our head,
correct, the
even in
journey
dream.
itself,
Yeah.
it's not just the end, no? The means
It's
itself
not
is joyful. It's
right,
joyful, moment to moment. The every time you're in knowledge, you're in that sattva. There is that
right.
contentment, that peace. So we should have that infinite patience. At the same time,
True.
be
But
sincere.
what is imperfect means like
Mhm.
we feel that. It's not uncommon to feel that way because
Correct.
we're not complete knowledge yet,
Mm,
right? That is
that is.
the ultimate knowledge is what is complete.
Mm,
So even though, like, say you did college, completed degree, that is not complete.
mm.
So that is what this
Correct.
one reveals complete.
That is
It's imperfect, right?
that is true.
Yeah, thank you. Mhm.
That is true. So we'll stop here. Anything in the material world cannot give you that fullness, like you rightly pointed out. After PhD, there'll be something else to do and something else to learn, something else to uncover. But here, self knowledge is something that gives us that completeness. I think that's what you wanted to mention. Yeah. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat. Jai Gurudev.
You know, I want to share one other thing I learned in the class. You want to play the Maya Panchakam? I don't know.
Can you not all see the Maya Panchakam I shared just now? No?
Yeah, it was heard, but it stopped now.
Okay, yeah. No, Dr. Maharaji started talking. I thought maybe it was not seen.
अनादिशून्ये घटयति जगदीश जीवभेदम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया श्रुतिशतनिगमान्तशोधकानपि अहह धनादिनिदर्शनेन सद्यः कलुषयति चतुष्पदाद्यभिन्ना न घटितघटना पडीयसी माया सुखचिदखण्डविबोधमद्वितीयम् वियदनलादिविनिर्मित्ते नियोज्य भ्रमयति भवसागरे नितान्तम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया अपगतगुणवर्णजातिभेदे सुखचितिविप्रविडाद्यहङ्कृतिं च स्फुटयति सुतदारकेहमोहम् त्वघटितघटना पटीयसी माया विधिहरिहरविभेदमप्यखण्डे बत विरचय्य बुधानपि प्रकामम् भ्रमयति हरिहरविभेदभावान् घटितघटना पडीयसी माया त्वघटितघटना पडीयसी माया